Welcome everyone to finals time in the Premiership division of Tasmanian Rugby Union 2021. We've got a feast of rugby here for you today as we see the Taroona Penguins hit it out against the Burnie Emus in the battle of the flightless birds. We've got Sean Killian sitting here next to me. Welcome, Sean.
Thanks, Deon. Thank you very much.
And while the players are just taking the field, I might acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Muanina people, who've looked after and lived on and cared for this land for thousands of years, and pay respect to their elders past, present and future. And we're in for a big one today. So Taroona with what would seem to be a full strength side, though the last minute little bit of panic for Taroona. I think Sean picked it walking down the field was Samu Lopa with a bit of a calf injury looking like.
Either a calf or a knee. I know he had some surgery on his knee last year, so it looks like he's had that knee strapped up. I'm not too sure how he's gonna go. I haven't seen him come back out of the sheds yet. So
no, I don't think he's on the ground at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see who's replacing him on the field. Still can't see. I don't think he's out there. I know Taroona have got a reasonable amount of depth in their front row. And their two front row reserves in Pat Garnham and Rob Clayton, who are the two bench players at least who are front rowers, aren't taking the field. So we'll see. Looks to me like Tanaka Harrison, I think, will probably move into the second row. And Ruben McConaughey, who's probably will go into the front row, and Taroona will see whether they get Loper out here or not. McConaughey there in the number 26. So could be a disappointment for Taroona. Burnie team, again, they're travelling well, big squad, full squad, plenty of firepower out there, and they've been good all year, and they'll be very, very buoyed by their win over Launceston last week, the top dogs. So
I think it'll be an interesting game. We've obviously, Burnie have got some size about them. I think they'll probably, bring that physical game, and I'd say probably a bit less structured than what Taroona will be. But we know that Taroona, obviously, they've got some good structure there, but they've also got some good firepower and physicality. But I think it'll be a good battle out there today. It's definitely going to be physical. We've got a bit of a breeze coming from the right-hand side of the field at Taroona's back.
And clock starts. And we're away. Ball goes to Holman. That's a common thing. Players, the kick always seems to go to James Holman. And Taroona will drive that forward and go to a ruck. We'll expect them to run a few pods to the right here. They'll go the same way again. Great defence there by Burnie. And offside. So straight away, call comes from the other side. And the quick tap, Solder. He goes and he goes, gives the ball off. But the pass doesn't go to hand.
Scrum, knock on first. Scrum red.
Early scrum. Both got decent sized packs. So yeah, we'll see what happens this first one. I think looking at it, looks like Burnie have probably got the weight advantage here. It is their ball.
See where they go here from their defensive half. They're gonna is Oliver going to kick, or is he going to use one of these big hard-running setters just to strike it up and try and put them on the front foot?
My money's on the centres.
Steady.
It's looking like Eva Murphy off his right-hand shoulder. They're very flat here, so yeah, it goes to Murphy on a flat line, taken by Kazarine, just drags him to ground, and then they go really wide, quickly out here, and the kick goes through. There's a good chase on here. And, the soccer over. What's going to happen? Holmes is in front. Just gets to the ball first before Kalapa, but it's knocked along the ground by Kalapa. And a very late tackle. Very late tackle out there as well after a kick. So scrambling defence by Taroona. Awesome pressure by Burnie. Kalapa's a big speedster on that outside and puts a lot of pressure on that kick.
Burnie are definitely going to run the ball. I think, they're playing into the wind first half, so they'll probably use these sensors and use their their size to attack and try and get some good field position.
So it's a good kick, makes good ground there, and we'll have a line out right in front of us. So relieving kick there for Taroona.
On my arm, Red, you can come in. Red, call in. 8, 5, 9, 2, 1.
Taroona captain Sam Lowe with the throw in. It's a nice high throw to Harrison. Pops it out to Lagrange. High pass to Kazarine. Gives it off to Andreessen, who's taken. And offside again. So Burnie's discipline. 3 penalties against them already. They really need to change that, or they're going to be on their back foot all day.
Taroona have had these 2 penalties in a row. They've just piggybacked themselves. They, the first one they got was down their try line, got themselves up to the 10-yard, and now, no doubt, Salts will put it out around the 22 and get them down there.
Just watch Lamita here in the number 3. Just breaks too early, way too early there, whilst Harrison still had that in his hands. And that was the penalty. So just ill-disciplined. Looking to put the pressure on, though. And now Taroona, after scrambling in defence, only 8 metres out from their defensive line, are 15 metres out in attack with their own line-out throw. Goes to the front to McPhail, comes down, and Holman gets his hands on that ball, and now they drive. It's a good driving maul. Good driving maul here. Burnie struggling to hold on to this one. Really nice body shape here from the Blues. Pushing forward now, hit the 5 metre line. Dragged under there intentionally, you can see on this side. And the arm goes out from Reynolds, the referee. Kazarine runs into a brick wall. And another advantage we hear. So penalties, penalties, penalties. Burnie really struggling to maintain their discipline. Taroona now going to shift it right. Ball in the hands of Reece Watts. Well supported, and again, I'm not sure how the penalty there for against Langi Via, who was well off his feet at that ruck, wasn't paid as well.
I think if you have a look at that shape, Taroona got really low in that driving wall, and Burnie were pretty high. They got some big boys there, but their height, at that maul wasn't very good, and that's where I think they were left no option other than to collapse it.
And you can just hear Reynolds there saying it. Too many penalties down here. Discipline. I think there were 3 penalties down there after that collapsed maul, which makes 7 penalties in 4.5 minutes against Burnie. So that's going to make it very difficult for them now, and the referee's already talking to them about it. Ball goes to Harrison. Taken well, pops it out, and Taroona go to their backs. Salter gets inside his man, but well taken by the cover defence there. And that man's all over that ball. Oh, very lucky to get away with that, Taroona. Ball goes wide now to Bird, who gets on the outside, but no. Defence is too quick for him. I'm not sure who that player is in number 15 out there for Burnie. Might be Hokinema playing at fullback. But Taroona still with possession, still moving forward. Getting caught with some good defence. This time, big Buffalo run from Ruben McConaughey. Oh, and the ball goes down. So good defence from Burnie in the end there. They didn't let Taroona through, just maintained their pressure, and in the end, a drop ball.
I feel like there's a bit of space on the outside there. I'd like to see Christo probably move that ball a bit quicker. I think he's just waiting for the structure to organise themselves. But we know that Taroona have got a good elusive backline and can use that space well. I think if they can get that ball out a little bit quicker out of that ruck and move it wide, they'll find some opportunities. Yeah,
that's right. Dave Kalapa, who's playing on the right wing for Burnie, was defending way in the middle of the field there, so they didn't really have the space out on the left. But they're also looking like their defence was in pretty narrow on that left wing as well. So Charlie Holmes on this side will be looking for a sniff to get around the outside. Good drive there, but good solid scrum. And there's a bit of space there, but the kick comes. Finds the grass, bounces back in there. Dewindham takes it, kicks it back. And he's put it out on the full. So good positional play, but it was a nice kick into space there. Could have rolled on and gone out. sat up for Dewington, but his kick was no good.
That's a good gain for Burnie. You know, obviously Taroona, as you said, piggyback their way down, all the way down to their trial line. Now they've got to, you know, they're back in the position they started in about 3 or 4 minutes ago. Now they've got to use that again and try and keep their discipline.
That's right. So the line out for Burnie. Just manages to stay straight. And cut ball now. Bird's got to get out there. He struggled, but just gets him, and that ball goes forward. So great defence from Oily Bird there. I really thought that Eva Murphy was going to get away from him. He just got on the outside. Bird's line was way too narrow, but just grabbed him by the back of the shorts and dragged him down.
In hindsight, he could have given that ball a bit earlier. I think he you know, Ollie was coming across. He managed to scrounge him, but had he given that ball a bit earlier, he had some pace on the outside of him.
He sure did. Yeah, that's right. That's just that one step, not aware.
Crouch.
Got a feeling we might see Kazarine put the ball down to the corner here.
Set. Steady.
Yeah, he's got a good kicking game. He's got a great left foot,
Definitely
but he
does.
also kicks off both feet pretty well too. Gives it instead.
Release.
Good drive, good support in there from Bird again. He's been busy. Just some of those little things. And the missed pass there, and taken in the end by Long for Burnie. And now Burnie with the turnover. Nobody's home, but the kick gets too low. And Blowfield will have a chance to have a run. Taken in a easy tackle in the end.
15, get out of the way. Thank you.
Taroona with possession now in defence. Watts with the grubber, but just goes straight to the opposition player. I think Via with the kick here, and goes straight to Dewington. He wants to get around. Oh no, loses his footing. Just does a great job there to stay up. Good tackle from Kalapa. So he's putting the pressure on too. Kalapa in the end. That's been turned over. Not sure how that ball was turned over in that ruck. Must have been a good guy. Just had a look at Kalapa running back.
Yeah, Burnie are pretty physical in that counter ruck. They're throwing a few bodies in there, and I think being a little bit bigger in size, particularly, you know, some of those backs are, you know, Burnie backs a bit bigger than the Taroona backs, and counter ruck in that they're throwing bodies in. They're getting good shape at their breakdown. Good turnover.
Yeah, you just see it on the replay. It was the counter ruck there. Kazarine was kind of caught on his own and struggling to hold them, and there was 2 against 1, and then the Taroona support didn't get there to help out, so turnover was pretty easy in the end there for Burnie. Tense struggle so far. 10-minute hit the 10-minute mark. No score either side. Taroona looking disciplined and structured, whereas Burnie, when only had the ball a couple of times, have looked pretty dangerous. Certainly kicking and getting their chase in, putting a lot of pressure on.
I think Lagrange is going to have to get this ball out pretty quickly. That last scrum, Burnie dominated, even though it was Taroona's ball. So we'll see what they like in this scrum, putting a bit of pressure on Taroona.
That's right, Taroona will definitely be keen to tighten up their scrum this time. And it's better, but still a good drive from Burnie. Kazarine there, finds the grass. That's a great kick. Just waited a little bit too far in the end. And I think Hakinamar back there can't take that. But I think he's carried that back in himself too. That was carried back in. He first touched that well outside the 22.
Yeah, I definitely think he touched it outside the 22 and knocked it back over his head.
Definitely. So I'm not sure why the line out is out here. Should I yell out? Just a bad miss there, I think, from the officials. That they should pick that up. It was very clear. He was nowhere near the line when he first touched that. So ball comes out now. Kazarine just gives a very flat and forward pass. He did it last time with Andreessen as well, running that same line and just leaving it way too late. There's no reason to leave that ball that late when there's no defensive pressure on you. So
yeah, I think watching him, you know, as a fly half, he probably needs to attack that ball a bit more. He sort of sits back a little bit and waits for the ball to come to him. Whereas if he takes that going forward, those forwards that are around him, he's able to be in front of them a bit more and run those lines better.
Yeah, he's also a long way away from Lagrange, and the passes keep coming above his head too, so he's just running out of a little bit of time feeling a bit pressured, I think. He maybe just needs to, in this wind, bit breezy out here, needs to be a little bit closer. Burnie now with the scrum. And bit of miscommunication at the back there. Good tackle from Salter, just enough to get Murphy to the ground. And the penalty's going to come to Taroona from the turnover. Andreessen wasn't quite ready for that. He didn't expect it. But again, penalty advantage. Taroona crowd just calling for a card for all these penalties. There's certainly been plenty. Bit hard to get a card, I think, in that situation. And this is where they need to push it wide quickly. Bird runs it into contact instead. Had two players outside him. Probably needed to try and get around the right-hand side of his defender there. Ball now to Holman. Makes good contact again and drives forward, but we're going to come back. Must have been maybe a knock on there. Unfortunately, our referee mic's just a little bit crackly. So I'm not quite hearing referee's words. And they decide now to take a shot. I think the wind's going to favour them a little bit here.
Yeah.
It's
I think that's a good option. Good option. I mean, we're a good, I can't see the screen there.
Nearly
12
13
minutes.
and a half, yeah.
Yeah, 13 minutes in, so get some points on the board. They've been down here a few times and haven't quite got anything yet, so probably a good option to have a crack. You know, if Ed doesn't kick this over, they got to kick it back to them when they get the ball again, and they've got the breeze behind them. Yeah,
I think the breeze, there's a little bit in this. It's going to be hard for the team running from left to right if they're, playing out of that defensive end to make lots of ground on the kick. So we'll see. It should favour Salter here. Takes his time, weighs up the shot. An exceedingly long time here. And he gets onto it, and it's a beautiful kick. So Taroona will be happy with that. 15 minutes in now to have managed to put some points on the board with this win favouring them. It's something that's necessary. They've had a lot of possession and so many penalties against Burnie. Lost count. There's probably been six paid and a number of advantage that penalties stacking on top of each other. So just noticed, I'm not sure if he's been out there the whole time. Shane Bentley on the field, the red and black headgear. It's a nice high kick here. Holman will attack this. Jumps into it nicely and well met by 4 defenders. Just need a little bit of help there, I think, from his players in front of him to just fill that space. It's a great high kick, well taken out there by Griffiths, who's played well so far. And the Taroona defence gets across and covers. It's a good run out in the end out there. Long ended up making some ground. And now Via with some space. Jewindham takes him to ground, but no one else does. They've just got hold of him. And I think that was Charlie Holmes maybe. No, not Charlie Holmes. I couldn't see who that was, but Taroona player managed to tap that in the air and they've regathered it, but the kick doesn't go. That's a smothered kick. That's the wrong decision there. That ball was kicked and came off hands, and Holman's allowed to do that. As soon as that ball was... And then the tap comes and Burnie score, but I think they're going to... Yeah, they have called that a try. Definitely looked like a try from here. Incorrect call out there from the referee, though. As soon as that ball's smothered, everyone's onside.
Okay. Short, 5 metre scrum.
Right, well, interesting call. Must have just hit the ground short. See the reaction of the Taroona players there on the replay. I think they knew that was just short.
Are you captain?
Reynolds just getting a little bit of grief from some of the Burnie players, questioning what was going on there.
Fine. Set. Steady.
Great scrum from the Blues there, and they've destroyed the Emu scrum. They want to get this ball out quickly. There's nobody back on that right-hand side. Just a little bit too slow. That's a big turnaround there, Sean. Burnie's scrum had certainly the last few times looked to be dominating Taroona.
Yeah, you know what, it's interesting. I think sometimes there's just one little thing that happens in the game that, you know, players react to, and that really gives them more, probably a bit more energy and pulls them together a bit more. And I don't know whether they get frustrated or they get angry and what it is, but it lifts them a bit more. And I reckon that was the catalyst, just that penalty that they got against them for, the ball that Holman caught that he was allegedly offside. I think that's probably just given that little lift to get into that scrum and go, right, we need to do something. That's
right. It really does show, I think, too, the mind games in the scrum. We do kind of make jokes about forwards and all of that kind of thing, and being the big guys and not the thinking game, but all it takes is one player in your tight five particularly to not quite be on the ball, not quite be thinking about what they need to be doing in that scrum, and that's what happens. So when they're all switched on, it's a pretty great spectacle to see, and that time Burnie weren't all switched on. Sure what happened there with the knock out of the hands, but comes back to Kazarine. He goes wide, the ball gets popped to Andreessen. Fends off, but again, just stopped in his tracks there, running a little bit sideways to get around the outside of Salter. And they go back wide. They got numbers out here aplenty. So Holman dishes it out, and Fenny quite rightly gives it off to Blowfield because he's the man with pace, but he needs to get them some support. And some good defence there from Hakinamar at the back, but Taroona are all there in support. Now they need to throw it wide quickly. They've got numbers out here. Salter holds onto it. The defence was up quickly outside him. Oh, here we go. And we're in trouble now because that's a big lift. And essentially just tipped Salter onto his head. I don't think he landed with any force on his head. I know he's waiting there, but just have another look here. Just unnecessary. The tackle had stopped him. And number 20, two of them in tandem there, but number 20, Pty Ltd, was really responsible for that. He's lucky for that not to be a red card.
Yeah, I think if you have a look at the way he landed, yeah, he definitely went above the horizontal, but he didn't land on his head or on his shoulder. So, even though it was dangerous, I think a yellow card is the right call.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things. Good refereeing. And Salter's up on his feet now. I think he's trying to milk that a little bit, Salter. He knew. I think they also probably potentially given that to the wrong player, I'd say. Just from the replay, Tuuta, who's sitting here on the bench, he wasn't the one who grabbed the leg and tipped. So his mate's going to owe him a drink tonight.
At least one. So being a man down, they've obviously decided to, take them on. It's a forward, they down. So, line out time, scrum town would be good for them now. They can have a real good crack at it. I feel like they might take the role in Morley and try and, see if they can get some good go forward and push them over.
Yeah, I think Tood has been playing in the front row too. So after that last, they'll need to replace him if we encounter another scrum. So Taroona with an attacking line out. Well taken in the air again by Harrison. Big hands, big forearms.
Burnie again, pretty high. If you look at their body shape,
just standing there.
Very high.
They'll be lucky again for. I think Taroona have pushed it to ground there. Wasn't taken down. All the Burnie players still on their feet. Oh, ball goes backwards there and taken by Holman, and he scores the try. The big fella. It was a great actual block on that pass there. I couldn't see who that was from Burnie to actually knock that ball backwards. They were looking for the wide pass, Taroona, but the big reach of James Holman. Go back and hit that on the replay here.
It's a dangerous thing to do.
Number 12, Eva Murphy there managed to get that back. He was pretty fortunate in the end that ball didn't go forward, but Holman with a big reach to catch that out of the air and a big reach to put it down over the line. And no sooner has that yellow card happened, and Taroona have put a 5-pointer on the board.
And a good decision to go for the corner as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So Salter, will he take as long this time as he did last time? Kick looks pretty good. Assistant referees are happy, and Taroona push ahead 10 to zip. Possession's all been in Taroona's hands so far, and that's mainly due to the repeated penalties from Burnie. Just ill discipline. They really struggled.
Their ill discipline's really cost them in this first half so far. Hopefully they can change that, because if they continue, you know, given all the penalties they give away, you know, I don't see them being able to, you know, make their way up the field very much.
I think, and so far, there's only been one penalty against Taroona, which was awarded that was possibly incorrectly rewarded as well. So Holman again, they kick the ball straight to him. Really good work there by Kalapa to get in the way. He didn't contact the ball, but he just made it difficult, and I'm not sure why that's not been noticed there, but certainly looked like Holman knocked that on. Fenny with a good hit there. Solid tackle too from Burnie. They're all offside at the side of the ruck there, Burnie. Need to step behind rather than half a foot in front.
Burnie are very, very compact around that edge. That 10, 20, 30 channel defensively, even 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 channel. They're really compact, and you know, they probably need to get more spacing on defensively in that area.
So Burnie, great pressure there. It was actually really a lot of support players there from Taroona, but they just didn't take that player in that the Jackal player off the ball. And he managed to keep enough of his feet on the ground and hands on that ball. You just watch it here. I can't see who it was, but player underneath, he's just got hold of it. He's still got hold of it, still got hold of it on his feet the whole time. So great play by Burnie, and now they've got a prime attacking opportunity, and they'd love to get some points while they've got this player in the sin bin with a yellow card.
Dave Kalapa, the 40 for Burnie's come from this right wing all the way into fullback, so there's a chance he might be involved in this.
Yeah, and he's a very strong runner. Really wide pass out to Kinema. Kalapa steps off his left, steps back the other way, hangs onto it, and they finally take him down just inside the 5 metre. Now they come right. Bentley, Lamita, he's a strong runner, but he's held up, gets to ground. Kinema comes out really wide now. Griffiths has a sniff, but can't get around McPhail. Burnie trying to go straight now, getting close to the post.
Ball's available, ball's available.
And knocked on at the bottom. So, just disciplined defence from Taroona. We've seen Burnie at the other end give away repeated penalties. Taroona there just being patient, and unfortunately for Burnie, there's a little knock on at the bottom of that ruck.
Well, they probably had a bit of white line fever there. They just needed to. I mean, they slowed it down really well, you know, to organise themselves. But you know, maybe just moving a little bit wide around those edges and not trying to go straight through where all the Taroona boys are lined up at that 10, 20, 30 channel.
Crouch. Fine. Set.
So Reynolds not happy with the scrum there. Not sure who's come into the front row to replace Tuuta, who's on the bench, on the naughty chair for probably for the indiscretion of his teammate in Towie, but.
Crouch. Fine. Set.
It's a talk out there from Burnie. Good solid scrum from both teams there. Taroona get a little bit of a drive on. Burnie's back's arching at the back there. That second row is not looking good, and Taroona keep going. Just enough to put their backs on the front foot, and a nice looking kick there from Salter. Almost caught by the scoreboard, assisted out there. And Taroona clear, so after a really strong attacking movement and a number of phases from Burnie, Taroona managed to get that out of there and give themselves a little bit of a breather.
Taroona had the not only the numbers in the scrum, they had a dominant scrum. I'm surprised that the referee, told them to use it. They were going forward, and while they're going forward, they should be able to, keep going forward and potentially get that penalty. But they did need to use it. They used it, and they got some good gain, and we'll see what Burnie can do now.
Certainly feels at the moment like the breeze has died off a whole lot too. It's not really playing a part at the moment on the match. See the trees on the other side not moving. Ball comes out now. Langi Via can't take it, but Ollie Bird grabs it and has a bit of a go. So they've got an advantage here. Kalapa grabs onto that ball. He's probably stolen it there. Nice little bit of sportsmanship seen there. Kalapa just getting up with a little bit of a fist bump there, I think, with Holmes or someone. Here we got
Daniel Oliver in 21 for Burnie. When he wants to throw that wide pass, he just stops and he squares up. He almost gets stuck in the mud to try and deliver that ball. It'd be good to see him just running onto that ball more and delivering that on the run. Otherwise, the defence can read that pretty well.
Just got the officials in front of us. I think the call was 2 minutes. 2 minutes possibly for the yellow card to return. In the time he's been on the bench, Taroona have put 7 points on. They'd love another opportunity. It's good to see Kazarine taking the ball to the line there, but he needs to kick a little bit earlier if he's going to do that. He's had his kick smothered a couple of times now.
Again, Burnie are really tight around those edges. There's not much defence out wide, particularly back on the left-hand side.
Oh, absolutely. On this side here, you've got a front row defending the centres, and you had...
That's trouble.
Yeah, that is trouble. That was silly. Silly play. Good effort there from Kazarine to try and get that ball, but good run by Kalapa again. He's a very exciting player. No one out of there ready for that for Burnie, but they managed to get the turnover there after that. Again, high pass. Kazarine's just really not had a lot of support from his inside passes. And Burnie go wide. Good around the ankles tackle out there. Reese Watts getting out wide. And Burnie with another opportunity now in their attacking half. So they've managed to repel the Taroona attack, and they'll see their teammate come back onto the field next time there's a break in play. Standing here in front of us, itching to get back on. Ball comes now out to replacement prop, I think, who's there. Might have been playing in the second row. Motu Fa'ifo. Great tackling out there. Brett Bentley just being pushed sideways. Gets his brother to come over the top in support, and Burnie knock it on. One benefit there will be that their teammate will be back on the field and they'll be back to a full 15.
Been a few knock-ons today, and I mean, I know we get the knock-ons from, in the game, but I feel that they might be maybe a bit anxious with finals football, so just got to be more accurate on those passes. Don't snatch at that ball as much, and make sure that the small things you do right. Yeah, so
Taroona's passing has not been great. Kazarine's had a lot of balls above his head, particularly off these set pieces. He's standing very, very wide, and the ball's being passed to him and high, so it doesn't give him any opportunity to move forward while he's taking that ball. And he is one of those players. He's got a lot of touch footy experience, and running forward, he's very dangerous and elusive. But if the ball's passed above his head, he's going to be standing flat-footed all day. It's going to make it hard for his teammates outside him as well.
Full compliments to the scrum, and it definitely makes a difference.
And it's turned over now to Lagrange at halfback for Taroona. Tried to get his hands on it, but it was still too far back in. And the drive from Burnie was great, but Just a little bit of an extra push there. I think Watts at that ruck didn't realise the ball had been called out. And another line out to Taroona. 32 minutes on the clock. Taroona will be pretty happy with a 10-0 lead over this team that toppled the ladder leaders last week. And great reach from Harrison. Lagrange taking that ball sideways. Number 24 can't do that. He's got to release. That's far EFO there. Can't hang on to the ball while the player goes to ground. And more ill discipline from Burnie. Just when they've got themselves down into an attacking position, pressures on Taroona and someone does something stupid and gives the ball back to them. Coach out there, Brett Bentleys on the field. He really needs to be talking to his teammates. It's just far too many of these mistakes being made by them that are making it easy for Taroona. Burnie can tidy their game up. They'll be much closer in this. Again, the pass is high to Kazarine. Just pretty obvious what's going on there. Andreessen, whose knees are on the ground now, needs to release, but every time they've thrown that ball to Andreessen off the line out, and that time there were two defenders waiting. We might have had some offside play out here from Burnie. Drop ball from Taroona. Just watching the assistant referee there making a call to the referee. Mustn't have been offside. But yeah, nerves on both sides, Sean. They're dropping pretty easy passes there. Jewendim's dropped a couple, I think, too now.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think, you know, the finals time, it's a tight game. There's not much in it. And, you know, probably just snatching that ball a little bit. Yeah, fair enough. Taroona got the wind at their back, which means that ball's going to drift away from them a little bit. But I think it's probably just a bit of nerves and snatching. They just need to settle themselves down a little bit.
Straight to the back, Griffiths. Oh, another high ball there. Wouldn't want to be playing at fly half today. Good bustling run there from Burnie. Great pressure. Oh, that's a great flat pass there. Finds Kinema, but his kick's no good, and Blowfield gets his hands onto it. Needs to roll and get some support. Taroona need to drive through. The body height's just too high at the breakdown. They get it back, and Charlie Holmes gets his hands on the ball, I think, for the first time. He's been playing way out on this left wing here, and the ball hasn't seen much action on this side.
No, not at all. Blowfield's had a lot of work on that right-hand wing. I think, you know, Burnie have definitely used that left edge pretty well, and Blowfield's defended that pretty well. But as you say, you know, down this other side, Charlie Holmes has barely had any involvement at all, and he's such an elusive player. It'll be really good to see him, you know, get into the game.
That's right. I think he's coming across in cover defence there, but he found himself on the other side of the field with the ball and a lot of traffic in front of him. Taroona just need to keep their eyes up for that too. When they've been in their attacking positions this side of the field, pretty regularly you've seen Kalapa out here with none of his other backs, and that's a very crooked throw. Very crooked. And again, the wind probably playing a little bit of a part in that. But Taroona.
So we saw that last scrum. Burnie got their full complements back, 8 on 8, and they really dominated it. Taroona now taking the option of the line out instead, which I think is a good option. Yeah,
they've won all of their lineouts really confidently, I think. Maybe only a few. Tap ball. Great defence out there. Well done there in the end by McConaughey to slip around.
He had one too many rolls there, I'd say. I think it was...
Quick tap.
Slowing that ball down.
But, oh, Holman nearly with the intercept there. Just knocked it forward, though. Great work there from McPhail to get onto that ball.
He was quick. Very quick.
Not sure why the penalty's for there. He said the ball was knocked forward. And then awards a penalty.
Might have been knocked back 10 from the initial penalty.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Just comes back to ball there. I think that ball that was knocked on by McConaughey on the ground and he rolled over it was awarded as the penalty. And Oliver went with the quick tap. You just see it on the replay. Not sure what the penalty was for. Maybe, I don't know, they must have decided that it was an intentional knock on by Holman. But the penalty stands. Quite pick that up. Can't, unfortunately, the trouble that we repeatedly have with the referee microphone. Couldn't hear what Reynolds said. So Burnie now with an opportunity to at last put some points on the board. The breeze has died off at the moment, so that'll certainly help them. And I say that'll be Langi Via kicking the ball there. It's a nice looking kick, out to the right and no good. Kazarine waits and then puts it down, and the 22 dropout will ensue. Grange just runs back quickly. You can see that there's no one long.
Whoa.
And apparently we've got a player in front of the kicker.
Wing in front.
Which was Andreessen.
It was a good option by Lagrange to get that ball going nice and quick. I think Burnie hadn't quite reacted to it yet.
It's one of those interesting situations there because there's no call. We normally see that in rugby when the player's in front of the kicker. We get a referee who says in front of the kicker 6, or give a call and allow them time to stop. That one was called by the assistant referee. So immediately, the referee Reynolds has called that one back.
Well, they've got options both sides, left and right. Yeah. We potentially could see an 8 break into the right here, going with that 12 and 14.
Yep, and they do. Andreessen gets up. Does he cover him? Yes, and he holds on to it.
Stay here, Blue.
Might have been I don't know if it was an offside or a high tackle possibly against Salter.
Could have been both.
Yeah, offside and high.
Ball was never out.
No, just called him as offside.
Scrum.
Burnie opt for the scrum after the last one. Why not?
Yeah, Burnie. I think if Burnie had that dominant scrum like they did previously, probably look to play for the penalty and work. If you work Taroona really hard at that scrum time, and eventually they'll have to lose a player. That's from a tactical point of view, but they might not go that way. They might decide that they got good field position, and they might have an attack and run. I haven't seen Via hit that line very hard yet. I
Such a flat line, this back line out here too, isn't it?
Murphy's run a few, and maybe it's Via's turn.
Go blind again. Holmes, Kalapa. Holmes can't take him. Kalapa gets on the outside there, and the try scored.
Just looked too easy, didn't it?
It did. Holmes was just, I'm not sure we'll pick it up on the replay on the camera, but Holmes had his eyes on the ball instead of on his opposite man. We can see Kalapa here on the replay in number 14. Just waiting, and he's in quite shallow. Holmes will be just standing just outside him. And when Tupou takes this ball around, Holmes just gets drawn in. We'll pick him up here. Holmes is looking at the ball. I think, okay, Holmes ran in because he wasn't sure if Tupou was going to be taken, and which he was quite easily in the end, but the pass came out, and Kalapa, who's been dangerous and probably their best player so far, certainly the best attacking player, has put some points on the board, and Burnie will be really happy with that in the last couple of minutes. Not long to go now in the first half to have managed to put some points on.
Yeah, I was just saying earlier, I think out in the centres, you got Murphy who's hit a few up in the centres there at 12, and Via at 13. Hasn't really done too much in the centres. It's probably time for him. I think he looks more like an injection player that's got some speed in him, and it'll be good to see him.
It's a nice looking kick.
Put him on some hard lines as well.
It's good.
Time for a restart, I said.
So a silly mistake at that 22 dropout back there from Taroona has basically turned that around and given Burnie that try. Andreessen in front of the kicker on the 22 dropout. Had no impact on the play and no warning, but those are the laws. Now Taroona, who had a comfortable 10-point lead, are now only 3 ahead, and we probably won't see a lot more in this half. It's a nice looking kick though. That would have been
not sure if he hit the ground yet. No,
yeah, I think my guess is that call came from the assistant referee on that one. Nothing dangerous in that, but he definitely wasn't. Definitely hadn't hit the ground. Great strong run here. This guy's been really good. I think that's Tupou who'd been off the field.
Burnie seemed to have just picked up the gear.
It's just bad timing from Holman on that kick. Go back and check it out. It's only 20 centimetres in it. You just see it here now. Yeah, just hit him in the air. Nothing dangerous. Wasn't a solid contact. But those are the kinds of tackles that potentially end up with a player tipping over. Holman didn't go very low on him. We'll see another line out right in front of us, directly in front of the camera. Perfect view. See where this ball goes. Taue with the throw. Very crooked throw there. And there's our half time. So good tight tussle for that half of rugby. Taroona really had the possession for probably 35 minutes, majority of the play. We're 10-0 up, and then silly couple of mistakes, struggling a little bit in their scrums, and allowed Burnie to put on 7 points right in the bottom end of that half.
I'd like to see how Burnie attacked the second half. I get the feeling that Taroona, Burnie probably shot themselves in the foot a little bit and gave away too many penalties, and Taroona were able to capitalise on that and get good field position. I think that Taroona probably should have used that wind a bit more when they're down in their own half and get rid of it, and we'll see what Burnie do. Having that breeze at their back makes it harder for Taroona to get up the field. If they can hold their discipline, if Burnie can hold their discipline in the second half and keep Taroona down in their own half and force them to have to run it out, and we'll see how they land up with that.
Yeah, that's right. I think the wind will play a part in this second half. Taroona will be running into it, and Burnie early on had a couple of really great kicks that put a lot of pressure on Taroona. So if they're going to continue to do that with players like Kalapa on that outside, and even Langi Via, who is pretty good at attacking the ball and hits the ball at pace into gaps. If he gets a little bit of space, he's got a great kicking game too. I think Taroona will find it really, really hard to get out and put some points on the board. So we'll head to a break though now, and we'll be back soon with the second half. All right, so second half about to start here. It's all happening. Very tight tussle, anyone's game. Burnie this half playing with the wind behind them. Taroona didn't really capitalise on the scoreboard for the majority possession that they had in that half. Burnie had really serious discipline issues early on, but tidied up their game later in the half and were able to put on a try in the last couple of minutes. Beautiful kick there taken by guess who? Giant leap of James Holman. He's been everywhere today. Ball comes out now. Harrison smashed in the tackle and driven back by two Burnie defenders, just going very high. So he just stopped while he took that ball. Good run in there by Solder. Cops a hand to the head there, and Taroona now with an opportunity. They go left. Are they going to spread it wide? Yes. Not taken by Rob Holmes out there on the wing. And Burnie start this half as they started the last half with unnecessary penalties. Solder's kicking game's been good. That one just makes it out. Very hard to see from this angle. Beyond the fluffy effects mic that you can see on your screen at the moment, picking up all the sounds around the ground. Certainly the crowd's not as big as we often see at this time of year, and particularly Taroona matches here. They're often got large crowds, but it's a fairly small and quiet mob today. Interesting there. Harrison went to pop the ball and realised that no one had tackled him, so I reckon James Holman was telling him what to do there, and he just had to start onto it now. A bit of space now. The bouncing pass. Holmes goes to ground. He needs to throw it back, and he does. Great support play from Dewindham. Probably needed to hold on to that one rather than trying to kick it around there. Just a little bit rushed in the end, but good support play from him. Taroona, I reckon they've thinking about throwing it wide. Good defence from Burnie.
Yeah, I think Taroona probably, worked out that Burnie are, pretty tight in the midfield and there's a bit more space out wide. And, they've got Rob Holmes on now, who's also got some good speed and good agility, and try and get that ball out there and test him on the outside.
Great work from Taroona. So Harrison driving forward after taking that ball again, but he's dropped it at the bottom. And then I think we've seen this happen twice now. Happened to McConney, and I think he's dropped the ball as he's hit the ground and then picked it up again to move it backwards and be penalised. Inexperience in that situation just gives Burnie an opportunity to get out of this end. Put a raking kick downfield from the boot of Eva Murphy. It's a big kick, big kick. And assistant referee on the far side there, Jared Burton, decides it's right on the halfway line. So Burnie managed to win the line out now, comes out, finds Oliver. He goes, oh gee, it was a well-weighted pass there. Taroona came up expecting the wide one, and he ended up finding Langi Via on a much shorter line with a great pass. It was really nicely done. Now Burnie with an opportunity with the ball in hands. Just a slow ruck here, going long to the back. Waiting on these strong runners too. And Bentley, oh, Rob Holmes nearly takes the intercept. Nearly takes it. He's hanging on at the bottom there, but unable to hang on to it.
Yeah, you said it earlier, Tuatua. I think it's Tuatua, number 4 for Burnie. He took that ball at pace, was running hard. I think he's going to be devastating. He was in the first half. He was a real menace to that ball, and he's got some good go forward.
Absolutely, he's a very big, solid player. He's back there in the front row on that far side. And he certainly doesn't have your standard build of a prop. He's quite tall. Certainly looks more like a loose forward, a lock or a number 8. Tupou takes it around the blind, but well met by the defence. Ball looks like it's out from here. Good counter ruck from Taroona just to put the pressure on Bentley, who's hanging around at the back there. And it's been turned over. So Bentley just not quite paying attention to what was going on there, I think. And Lagrange gets the ball. It's a high kick. That'll find Kalapa, and he'll enjoy the opportunity to have a bit of a run. Oh, solid hit there. Where's that ball going to bounce? Oh, Kazarine just hangs on, and that's forward. But no, not forward, and the ball comes out now to Long. He's taken a mildly high tackle from Bird, and that puts Burnie in a great attacking position now with a penalty advantage. And maybe going for another penalty advantage here too. So Taroona need to tidy up their defence. And Burnie with their tails up now, pushing in. Messy ruck there, I think, turned over, and it's going to come back to... No, just back to the high tackle from Bird. Just untidy, really, from Birdie. He needed to make a solid tackle. It's interesting, we just missed it there. I'm pretty sure that ball went forward back there, but Bird here comes around, finds Long, and just the arm, just high on the bridge of the shoulder.
Yeah, he's tracking across the field. I think the idea was to try and wrap him up and prevent him from getting the offload, but even just a nice low cut would have done in that situation.
Yeah, I don't think there was any support play particularly there that was going to be of any danger. So, although you never know, Langy Via I think was back on his inside, so untidy. But Burnie now with a nice pressure in that scrum. Ball comes out quickly. Funny wrap around there. Long takes, not Long. Yeah, no, it is Long. Oh, great ball, beautiful run, and Kinema coming out of the back there runs into a beautiful pass. Big yawning gap in the defence. I'm not sure what happened out there. Taroona will need to have a good think about that.
The fly from Burnie, Daniel Oliver, he just held that ball up really nicely and allowed him to hit that hole and just popped it into the space.
Yeah, Jewindham there, you can see him. He was ball watching, waiting for that pass to be a bit quicker, and he lost his man. Can go back and have another look. Great play here. So Oliver gets around, holds this ball. Jewindham comes up and goes, well, oh, whoa, and his opposite man slips in behind him and goes in untouched. So that's the start that Burnie were after.
Yeah, when you play that rush defence on the outside, that's the risk you run. If you over track it, the ball can get played in behind you, which is I think what happened in that situation.
Yeah, and again, if was really, as you said, great play from Oliver to hold that ball up there. That was what put Jewindham into no man's land. If he had passed that quickly, Jewindham would have had his eyes up. But again, Jewindham there just ball watching instead of defending his opponent. Kick comes, looks good. So first blood in the second half goes to Burnie, and now they're in front, 14-10, and now Taroona with everything to lose.
You said it earlier, you know, when they got that run down the left-hand side, you know, I think Burnie have got their tails up now. They've got some energy, they've lifted themselves, and they can see that if they put a few phases together and hold their discipline, they can actually do some damage.
See this kick go high and left again. It's pretty standard. Find James Holman out there with the big jump, and again exactly the same as we saw last time. Holman there, good support play I think from Ruben McConaughey to drive over and get rid of that defensive player at the top of the ruck. Oh, got to be careful here, lifting. Oh, and he's dropped it. Harrison just unsure what to do there. He had a look to see if there's someone to pass to, and then he was a bit uncertain. Great pick up from Via. Good defence from Bird, and the knock-on comes. Maybe he came back off a Taroona player. Taroona have managed to recover it here. So good work from Burnie, great attacking pressure. Can Taroona get out wide? It's a good distance on that kick from Kazarine, but he just needed to be a little bit wider, and Hakinama now returns it, and returns it with a bit of interest.
Yeah, it's so important when you kick and you find turf. You know, you got to find that grass. If you kick it down their throats, you put yourself under that much more pressure.
So Taroona, lineout's been very good today.
Yeah, definitely, very good. That's one of their strengths today, most definitely.
And easily to McPhail at the front, who holds onto it. Now the ball comes out. Kazarine gives it to Andreessen. Got to be careful with these high-ish tackles, these Burnie players. I'm not sure if Andreessen looks like he's had a head contact there, because he's down.
Oh, I think he got hit. Looks like he got a hit in the shoulder.
Oh, ball knocked on here. Oh, Blowfield.
Yeah, so obviously got a player down. Yeah, I think he got hit. I think it's a shoulder.
I think it was a head. I don't know. Yeah.
And then, although it was advances for offside, the high tackle unfortunately supersedes that because it's foul play. So you can still get pulled up for a high tackle after there's penalty advantage.
Just have a look on the replay here at what happened to Andreessen. I think it was a head contact in that tackle. Certainly, he went straight to ground, and it's one of those things. I was about to comment on how high that tackle was, and if you tackle and your head makes contact with the player you're tackling, that also is foul play due to your, going too high in the tackle. But yeah, maybe, I don't know if it's his shoulder. He's very uncomfortable on the ground down there.
I feel like it might be the left shoulder, AC joints area,
yeah,
but it might. Yeah, it's hard to tell.
That's right.
It's hard to tell. Yeah, as I was saying back here, there was a penalty advantage for an offside. The Burnie player knocked it forward, and the player in front of him gathered the ball, which is offside. But the law says that foul play supersedes that. So unfortunately, Blowfield came in with a bit of a high tackle, which is punished Taroona here.
Absolutely. Not only that, they'll be disappointed they're going to lose Andreessen as well. If we've seen the sub probably already. I think Jordan Eddington will come onto the field. Yeah, he's down there with the assistant referee at the moment. Pretty handy replacement player is Eddington. He's hails from up in New South Wales. He spent a bit of time possibly living in Newcastle, and he's an experienced player. I have noticed he's inclined to give away the odd penalty at the breakdown, being a bit overly enthusiastic, stealing the ball, but he's very, very good over the ball, very strong over the ball, and a great runner too. So Andreessen coming to his feet. Yeah, holding his shoulder. So you picked it, Sean. Crunching tackle on him. And they've gone to him off those lineouts almost every time. It's just become a little bit easy for them to defend him, particularly when when the passes aren't quite exactly right. So the penalties here, and Burnie, worried about their lineout, have opted for a scrum.
Jordan Eddington might have to take on that truck up position now, that truck up role off that lineout.
He's gone into the second row too, so Eddington into the second row. Harrison moved to the blind side flank. Beautiful spot with the scrum. Unfortunately on the screen you can't see it perfectly because the assistant referee in the way, but Burnie scrum's good. And Taroona countered that nicely in the end. Good pressure from McPhail. Very sideways run there from Oliver, but he's got a strong runner inside him, Murphy. Now the ball comes to Lamita. Nicely taken Holman around the ankles. The attempted dummy there, that's also an illegal move. Not allowed to fake the pass out of the ruck or ball. Big run out here. Oh, not good tackling by the front rowers there from Taroona, and it takes their winger to show them how to do it. So Fenny and Lowe both making half-hearted attempts to tackle the big runner. Burnie now pushing into attack. Harrison trying to get out of that ruck. Bentley ducks around the side. He's always tricky to tackle if you don't get him the first time. Tupou to Lamita, finally taken down. And Burnie pick and drive from here. Their big fellas starting to find some gaps and starting to make some meters. Don't think that's been released there by Taroona, but knocked on at the base.
Just thinking back to this penalty that they restarted with, they went for the scrum and instead of kicking the ball down and, you know, finding some space down in Taroona's 22.
Yeah, they've struggled on their line out. I think the last couple they've lost, so clearly worried about that, and that's been a strength of Taroona's as well. They've picked a few off.
Well, we'll see what happens at scrum time now. This last scrum was pretty strong. Taroona, like you said, they had, you know, they countered it pretty well, but I'd say that, you know, Burnie probably got nothing to lose here by just having a real crack at the scrum and see if they can upset things.
So I can see in front of us here too, there's a front row replacement for Taroona will happen soon. My guess will be we'll see Aidan Fenny come for a break, and he'll be replaced by the wise front rower in Patrick Garnham.
A real pity for Taroona losing Samuel Oper before the whistle even went for the start of the game. He has a huge impact at scrum time and
sure does,
and offload time and ball carrier time. And
Taroona managed to get that ball out quickly. It's a nice looking kick there from Solder, but just doesn't quite find touch, and that gives Hakinima some space, and he ducks back around. He won't get past Lagrange, and ball ends up going out. Not sure who that's come off. It's come off Lagrange, I think, as he's attempted to rip that ball. You can hear the the Burnie crowd cheering, jumping up and down in excitement.
We'll see what Burnie can do at line-out time. We said how they've struggled with their line-out, so if they can get this one and set up a good platform.
Difficult, but they managed to win it. Comes to Oliver. He goes really wide to who was that? Via, who hit Salter. Salter went very high on that, and Salter's no good. He's got to get back into his defensive line or he's going to be in trouble. And now Kalapa, rampant, running back into some traffic, but making good meters and putting inside on the front foot. Taroona's defence needs to stay strong here. Quick ball, finds Lamita. Oh, he takes 3 to get him down. And now we've seen a knock on the ground there. No, referee says backwards. Sure, that came off a foot and onto another hand on the ground, but Burnie keep going. Pushing there, Langy Via just directing some traffic.
They sent it out wide to the right-hand side. Burnie got a lot of space out there.
In the way, but
yeah, it's interesting. They got 2 players standing really wide.
Quick tap there. That player's nowhere near onside. I don't know how with the referee's not putting his arm. What? Quick tap here, and the player was only back 2 metres. Oh, we've got the advantage. Those are the kind of yellow card situations. And the ball gets knocked on. We should go back here for the penalty. No? I'm bewildered by what happened there. Reece Watts took a quick tap and was tackled by a player who was 3 metres in front of him. Go back and watch that on here. Go, just have a look at the replay.
Yeah, he did play advantage for it, but he obviously decided that the knock-on advantage was a better advantage, which I personally tend to disagree with. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get a kick and bang it all the way down, and get over the halfway line, and you got a dominant line out as well.
This player was not even back 2 metres who made the tackle. It's almost kind of yellow card opportunity that can be given in situations too. Maybe not that deep in defence, but
well, let's play on.
It is play on, and here we go. Burnie still in attack, still with possession, and they've gone down in the front rows. Everyone's gone down.
Yeah, I think Burnie, they rushed that ball at the breakdown right near the line. They had some good numbers out to the right-hand side with only 1 or 2 to finish from Taroona, but really trying to keep it tight. Probably wasn't the right option, but it's easy, sitting here having a look from a wider angle is easy to see that than it is when you're on the field sometimes.
So Garnham now in the front row here. I think looked like it was that side that went down first. McConaughey on this side needs to get his shoulders up. He's got needs to get his body height better. And 2 in a row this time, and Reynolds decides maybe there's a bit of justice there. Decides that Taroona were the side doing the right thing, and Burnie not scrummaging correctly. Salter only makes a few metres this time. He's had a couple of kicks down there, the last from that corner that he's not made touch. The last two that he's kicked in open play, so a little bit conservative that time. Ball will go to Harrison. Not quite there. Goes backwards from McConaughey. Oh, a bit of a high shot there from Burnie, but mustn't have been any contact. Ball comes Eddington, wants to have a run. Hits it up. Taking in a great tackle. Good solid defence there. That's that man Taroona who saw 10 minutes on the naughty chair last half after a tipping tackle on Taroona player. McConaughey now pushes it out wide. Taroona just being tackled easily out there. And now Rob Holmes has some space. Will he chip? He likes the chip. He goes off his knee, but he gets around and he picks it up. No one anywhere near. He's got to throw this ball back. No good though. And that guy, Dave Kalapa, who's racing back in defence there, covers that ball. So nice run and a interesting kick off the knee for Holmes. Sees Burnie clear. And Jewindham now takes it in play, needs to come across. He's got Blowfield over here, and there's a lot of space. He's pointing, he needs to get the pass away. They need to move it quickly. Salter passes around to Burr. There's no one outside him though, and they're too slow to get it out there. But they recover, and now they're going to throw it back wide the other way. No, the kick's not on there. Kazarine, not a great decision. It kicks it straight to Kalapa, and he gets around outside. Now, he's fast. I think Bird will get there first. He's going to have to keep his eyes up. Has a bit of a look and decides, oh, I can burn you off. And he does too. Needs some support there, and it comes. So Taroona now really throwing the ball around quickly. Holman runs back in behind the ruck. Bit of a high fend, but that's allowed. I think is it Kalapa down in back play?
He's got some cramp, calf cramp.
He's earned the cramps, I think, today.
Definitely
now
has.
Watts carries it to contact, but can't get it away. And Taroona just hang on to possession. Eddington now runs into the tackle of Brendan Griffiths. And they've knocked it on as they hit the ground, so ball security.
Yeah, Taroona were on a roll there. That's some good go forward, some good ball, but I think they got rushed up on the outside, and as they rushed up from the outside, Kazarine, you know, I think he panicked a bit and went for the kick. He should have just held on to that ball or just offloaded it nice and short and kept the front foot ball.
Taroona having a substitution here, and Kazarine's going to come from the field. So the shuffle will be Ed Salters moving from inside centre to halfback. Christo Lagrange is moving from halfback out to fly half, and Rickard Daniel has moved into inside centre.
Yeah, I think it's a good option. You know, Noah's he's a youngster. You know, he's played a bit of footy and he's, you know, played pretty well the last 2 years with Taroona. But Christo's got some good experience in his head, and you know, I think he'll control things and organise things a bit better. And with that experience, he probably won't panic as much.
So Tupou goes around, gets tackled well by Salter, and then the pressure comes on from Harrison onto Kalapa, but Burnie managed to get it back, and some nice tackling. Good. Taroona have really turned it up here, and they might have blown over this one. No, ball's still on the ground. Eddington needs to keep his hands off it.
I have a feeling that late tackle from Salter might get himself into trouble. I see the flag out on the far touchy.
Ball comes close to the line out here, and the tackling's getting pretty rough and high. But yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't see that. So we might see if we can go back and pick up on the replay. But we've actually blown up the play. Computing issues here. Here we go. Oh no, that looked alright. That tackle. Right. Not sure what we're seeing. Certainly as he was passing the ball.
No, I think he got his timing right there. Salter, I thought he's got his timing pretty good, but there was a bit of a complaint from the player, which might have just had the touchy convinced.
That's right, move.
High tackle there, or you've got push on the ground inside the 22 over here.
A high tackle is the call, and a push on the ground for a penalty.
Yeah, it must be an off-foot tackle.
Haven't heard of that law, but that's I'd be expecting that to be Edward Solder. It's his standard tactics. I think after a solid tackle, he loves to let the player know, and that would have been what happened, I think, in that situation. Burnie, though, now with a great kick downfield. Again, just this game really has been turned by ill discipline from both teams. So 2 cases there, Taroona, who've upped the ante a little bit. They've really upped their pressure, but if that upping of pressure involves high tackles and ill discipline on the ground, you're going to end up back down this end of the field. And the breeze, as light as it is, it's still there, and it's still clearly an advantage for the team, for Burnie kicking in this direction. Line out, fail again from Burnie, taken by Watts. And there's an advantage here. I'm guessing that's going to be a penalty advantage, unless it's a knock-on.
Might have been a knock-on on the line-out,
knock-on from the line-out. So Rickard Daniel runs into very heavy traffic. The tackling from these Burnie inside backs is very good. Taroona just need to find a bit of space on the outside. They do here. Rob Holmes, he'll get taken down by Shane Bentley and manages to recover it. So we've got advantage again here. So again, the discipline now in the last quarter of the match. Players are just starting to do silly things. Lagrange, who's he got? He goes wide to Eddington with a nice little pass to Bird. Hangs on to it. He just identified that Blowfield was too far away for the pass to hit him and makes the right decision. So Watts now takes it in, just an easy move down to a ruck. Burnie don't commit players to that. Ball comes back inside to Daniel. Just goes forward. Burnie again, just standing off at the ruck. Nice flat ball to Holman. Well tackled by Bentley around the bottom of his ankles. Now they push it wide and they go quick. Dewindham, Bird. Forward. Oh, it's a forward pass. Space was out there, but the pass just didn't go where Taroona wanted it. So really good ball movement in those phases from Taroona.
Really good ball movement. A few minutes ago, I was having a watch and they came back out this way to the right-hand side, and you could see Lagrange organising his forwards, pushing them outside, talking to him. I think that's where there's experience. You can see how had a few more phases and then used that back line. If it wasn't for that forward pass, I think they would have been potentially in on that left-hand side. Just that experience, I think, makes a big difference, particularly in finals rugby when things are tense and things are generally tight.
4 points in it. It's not going to take much either way. One try to Taroona will get them in front, but a try to Burnie will put them 2 scores ahead.
Time on, scrum red, marks here, guys. Let's go.
So I'm not sure who that is coming on.
Tupou.
Oh, yeah. So he must have been replaced in the starting side by Bentley. Some good tackles out there from Bentley as well. Is leading the way. Again, just showing that it's not big high tackles that win matches. It's taking players around the ankles and getting them to ground.
Execution.
Now the scrum. What's going to happen here? Ball came out very quickly. Spread the ball around and the kick comes. Blowfield is up shallow. And the ball bounces. Oh, look out. Whoa. Great contact from Blowfield too there on Kinema as he attempted to tackle that, as he attempted to take that ball. It was a really good, solid hit. But a rotten bounce. Why do we play with a ball shaped like this? For that reason exactly. Just, I think, a bit of just the inexperience of Dewindham. This is his first year playing a fullback, and he just didn't read that very well. Didn't get across to cover that kick, and so there was a lot of space there, which is why Kinema was able to run onto that. But pretty good contact in the end there. Rotten bounce on this ball, and just the contact, probably just a bit of a forearm in the ribs from Blowfield in the end there, and it was in a situation where it was a contest. Contest was on.
Yeah, definitely.
Just probably hit him around the midriff where it hurts, and he was running at serious pace. He's fine. He's up on his feet. nod of the head. Back into it. So the knock on against Hakinama from Burnie. If he had taken that ball, he would have been in. I don't think Jewindon was going to cover him as good as his defence can be at the back there. Great mix up there too from Burnie. Eva Murphy, the big inside centre, has hit the ball up a lot, and they were holding off him, waiting for him to hit it to them, and the kick was really, really good. So, bit of an early push there. Taroona not holding up on this side. McConaughey again, he's got to be careful. He sets before the scrum with his shoulders below his hips. And that could see him in trouble if the assistant referee picks up on that. He's got to bend his knees and get his hips down a little bit lower.
I don't know if it's any better, but all right.
So Taroona just scrum inside their defensive half on the 10 metre. Still see it. Certainly once McConaughey makes contact in there, his body shape's better.
Yeah, I think Faye's going to tuck this one up. No.
Bird runs straight back in behind the scrum. Gets over the gain line pretty easily in the end. And Eddington standing really flat. Blowfield, a bit high there maybe from Griffiths.
I think he went for the ball. I don't think he actually made contact with the player.
Yeah, it definitely, it looked like it, but I think you're right. I don't think there was any contact. And the assistant referee was right there. And Bentleys stolen that. Beautiful work from him. And then knocked on by Taroona. So Burnie with the turnover here. And moving ahead. Just slow ruck play here. We've got 10 minutes left to play. Ball goes to Murphy. They go really wide to Hakinama. And he kicks it forward, and that'll find touch, I suspect. Oh. So it's a really, really great position on that kick there. Jewindon had no choice but to attack it. And as he just struggled to gather it, he's tackled over the line. And
Kalapa had a really good chase. You know, they say your kicks is only as good as his chase, and Kalapa was really working hard to get up on that one. So, you know, just took him into touch. They've got a good attacking space now. Hopefully they can win their line out. And their backs are ready to go. Tupou's out there in the centres.
They've got a big setup out here. That's right. Patrick Tupou, the number 8's out there. We've also got Langi Via and Eva Murphy in the second line. But they take, the ball's gone very much forward, but so knocked on at the line out by Taroona. Back and have a look.
Knock on by blue at the line out, knock on by red up there. Red scrum.
So there must have just been a finger on that in the line out. The throw was pretty ordinary.
Well, we saw the first try. The try that Burnie scored where the 8 broke around the blind side. I'm just having a look at Kalapa. I know he's coming back around the side now. He was pushing out to that right touch line, which made me think they might do the same, but he's come around, he's almost with the fullback position at the moment, so we might see something played out the back door and pushing wide out here.
That's right, they've set very differently on this scrum here. All of their earlier scrums, their backline's set really flat.
Yeah.
Would you like to argue?
And to, you know, generally this is the line you're going to set to run out the back door and have your blind winger come and join the line. Your fullbacks out there wide as well.
It's getting tense now. Front rows trying the psychological battle here. And everything hinges on this scrum for Taroona. If Burnie can put the pressure on here and get their scrum moving forward, it'll give their backs a great opportunity to put on a move. It looks like they're going to do. But Taroona really did a great job there, but Tupou manages to get it. And a good solid tackle. A good solid tackle from Rob Holmes on Griffiths. So just this scrum seesaw battle has been amazing. I think Burnie just took the foot off a little bit there, wanting to get it quickly, and Taroona.
They had a great platform, great position, but they needed to just pull tight and hold that scrum. But good on Taroona, work really hard. Like you say, it's a bit of a seesaw back and forth. But they've made it count when they need to, which is good. 5
minutes to go, maybe a little bit more. We've had maybe a couple of minutes stoppage before. That throw's terrible, goes not straight at all, and way over the back. So I think Lowe will be disappointed with that one. They've really done well in their line out so far. And another opportunity to have the psychological battle at the scrum. Burnie, I'm sure, will scrummage better this time. I think the last one, they're just a little bit of complacency, just holding off, and Taroona really needing the ball back to come away with the win today.
They've got the same setup in the backs. Looks like they're probably going to go wide. I think that's is that Daniel in the centres there?
Yeah.
He's a pretty solid unit, but not. The fullback's gone. Kalapa's out. He's still got his cramp.
Oh, and the kick through. Who's going to get there first? The rotten bounce. Oh dear! Dived on by Blowfield. I think knocked on by Red. No, knocked on by Blue. Oh, the shape of the ball,
yeah,
it's
just
a
kept
shocker.
On bouncing towards the touchline, didn't it? Just didn't want to go over the line.
And Dave Kalapa is lying on the ground back where he started at that scrum. He's on their defensive side of 10 metres. I think he's cramped up massively while he was just standing there, and he just went down.
And they needed him in that back line. They had a really good run down the wire. They used that space well, but they had 2-on-2, and that's why they kicked. Whereas I felt if Kalapa come around that corner, he would have given the extra man.
That's right. We just we don't even pick him up on the screen. But the ball came really wide to Via, who chipped through, and this ball bounced left and it bounced right. Taroona players all slowed down. Who's going to get it? Who's going to get it? Comes off Rob Holmes. Lucky there, Blowfield offside there in that situation. Yeah, as I say, I'm not sure, we've got a couple of Burnie players running onto the field to help carry Kalapa off, I think. So they're just waiting. They've obviously subbed him. And he'll be replaced by number 31, who I don't have on my list. All the numbers we've got here, he's not one of them. Most likely to be Wasi Halasima.
Well, they've got them down as number 21, and we know that Daniel Oliver's wearing 21, so they must have put him in 31. We'll sit with that for the moment. We'll see how we go.
So Burnie attacking scrum here. Great opportunity now to put the pressure on. Langy Via thrives in these situations. He's out there in number 13. I've seen him earlier in the year playing at fly half when Oliver's not there, but Oliver's directed these guys really nicely outside him. His decision making with the ball and when to pass and when to hold has been really good. So
yeah, we think about that last try they scored where he just held that ball up nice and late. They've got another wide set up again. They've got the blind winger standing behind the inside centre, nice and deep. So again, makes you think they might go out the back door. But number 13 out there, Via, I think he's run into some good space today. I wouldn't mind seeing him crash it up. I think he can take them on if he runs a nice high straight line. Salter come around the corner. Could be in trouble. I think he's going to go.
Having done it before, and he doesn't forge a great relationship with the referee. He's been arguing a fair bit over a few things, I think, by the sound of it out there too. And so Reynolds has had enough. And that's that knife edge situation. You're the halfback. You want to put the defensive pressure on. if you go at the right time. Oh, here goes the tap. To Uta. Still drives. They're going to be over the line here. It'll be held up. So back to another scrum. So mixing it up again, Burnie. They just need to hold possession. There's only a couple of minutes to go with this 4-point lead. Nothing silly. They should be able to play this game out here and come away with a win.
Their last scrum was pretty dominant. If they can have another dominant scrum and just keep moving forward, they should be able to get the push over.
And in this situation too, without a halfback to defend, it's going to be really difficult for Taroona. So Lagrange will come in and defend at that halfback position. I wouldn't be surprised to see Tupou off the back though come around to this blind wing. He goes open instead, taken by McPhail, and a nice tackle. Must have been offside there, or hearing an advantage. So a very long way out where that offside was, and there's certainly no impact on the play out there.
Gus McPhail looks like he's copped one to the ribs.
Guaranteed that offside call came from the far side assistant referee, and Burnie go the quick tap again.
Had they taken the 3, they would have put them 7 points, but they want to go for that try.
That's right, not enough. Just holding possession is really all they need. They're going to play out the game here. Defence gets up quickly. Bird manages to take Murphy to ground. Nice line, all held up again there, so great defence. No, the try scored. So great effort in there by Taroona defence, but Burnie's continued pressure has put them up by 9 points now, and that'll be an unassailable lead. I doubt we'll get any more play in now, but really great work from Burnie. That persistent pressure, just repeatedly hitting the line, just maintaining possession, depriving Taroona of any opportunity to get their hands on the ball.
I think the other thing, having that penalty in the midfield definitely gives you, I don't know, I feel like it gives you more confidence when you've got space on both sides and you can just have a crack and you know that you can try and draw players in. They didn't need to draw players in, they just kept going around the edges and eventually they went through. But a good tussle in the end there for Taroona. Initially it looked like it was held up, and it's obviously found a tuft of grass there somewhere.
That's right, in between two players. See, I think Watts and Bird maybe on the ground. No, Watts and Daniel under there. I think Daniel was not happy looking on the replay that try was awarded or something. I think there was another Burnie player who dived over the top of it too. So just go back and have another look. Number 8, I think Patrick Tupou there with the try. No, it wasn't 8, it was, and we have the conversion kicked in the background too. Puts Burnie up now by 11. I doubt we've got enough time for Taroona to come back here, but we've got another play. All right, so I think we've just heard the referee say 4 minutes.
Yeah, it sounded like 4 minutes.
Well, if they can put a try on straight away and then a penalty, we'll see. Put into the Holman unable to take that one. Great position. Well, that's to come off Burnie. So again, Burnie maintain possession, win the game. Just need to deprive.
Tackle. I got to release that. Unfortunately, they haven't released it. He's caught them all actually. Sorry, I thought I might have heard that. I wasn't sure.
Taken in by red, blue scrum.
Right.
Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
I called more as he went basically before he got his knee. I called that knock back with your player's shoulder. Yeah. No, I called knock back. Blue scrum.
Burnie captain in there, Brad Vanderdrift, I think, just asking about what happened on the kickoff, but the call was that it came off the Burnie player, not off Holman.
Well, we'll see what we got here. We got Daniel playing at fly half because Salter's on the bench, or on the naughty chair, should I say. And the Granger's gone into 9, so there's no doubt they're going to have a crack at it. They've got to.
That's right. Oh, the pass is awful.
Unfortunately, it's been the story of the day, hasn't it? That pass just hasn't
quite
that's right. Made it to right spot. a lot of the time it's been too high or too low, which has not helped the first receiver.
Time's off.
So sub, just 2.5 minutes to play. And Burnie with the scrum. So substitution here, Gareth Jubb coming onto the field, onto the wing. He'll replace Cullen Long.
2.5 minutes, it's a lot. It's enough time to get 2 tries. It's been done before. But Burnie have the ball, so it'll probably take them a good 30 seconds to set the scrum. Maybe even put the ball down. Just looking up, looks like the right-hand corner. There's a lot of space down that right-hand corner.
Yeah, and they've pushed two.
They've set themselves on that right-hand side.
Pushed 2 players to that side.
Maybe an 8 round the edge. And
Jewindham at fullback for Taroona needs to push himself a lot more around to that blind side. He's not getting any direction from in front of him, but his opposite man is actually lined up. Oh, he's lining up opposite him, but they've got that extra man around the other side, so
Come on, guys. Let's go.
it's going to have to work a little bit harder here if they go blind.
Yeah, I think that's Murphy on the right-hand side there.
Yeah, he's
I'd see an 8. I'd see an 8, 9.
Murphy's almost directed the back line more so than Oliver, I think. There's been a lot of quick passes out to him and the moves all revolve around him. But Watts wanted that ball and he needed it quickly. Daniel just hangs onto it as he hits the ground, dishes it back, and Taroona need to go quickly. It's only going to be a minute or so to play. They've got to score a try and then get back for another one. Penalties are not going to help.
Blowfield's calling for it out, Joe. He thinks there's more space.
They do. Their only options might even be a bit of a run and a chip behind Jubb on this wing. Well, that's not a bad option there from Holmes. And he manages to keep that ball, but he might have stolen it too.
No hands.
No hands. Taroona might drive through it. Nah, Burnie get back around now.
Did very, very well.
Really great work from Burnie to get back around behind that.
He actually stood up. He actually released the ball, stood back up, and then played a game, which bought him an extra second or two, which was very good.
They got the play out wide here. Oh, Bird couldn't get outside Jubb. Not sure what the penalty's for here. There's an advantage. That ball just needed to get out to Blowfield quicker. And he has a nice run through there into contact, so having a good crack. No one at halfback. Eddington comes in, goes blind. It's just going to take some ill discipline or some missed tackles here from Burnie to let Taroona in, but I think the time's going to be up and they're not going to have enough time for 2 more.
Midfield with his cramp as well.
Yeah, here comes Daniel, gets it to Bird, takes it to them. He's got to get Holmes on the outside. Oh, I think that ball's come forward. We're going to come all the way back. So, still time for this penalty advantage, but
One over here, inside between 2, 1 here.
So 2 options. It's just going to have to be a quick tap. Lagrange is going quickly. Gives it to Holman, who's down the line. Busts through. He's almost there. Taken out. That'll be full time. And it is. So really great competition here today. Sees Burnie 21-10 winners and a really tight game between the two sides. A yellow card for both teams. Tries Burnie with 3 to Taroona's 1, but it was a really, closer game than the scoreline. Kind of makes it look.
Bit of a game with 2 halves. I think the first half Burnie gave away a lot of penalties and shot themselves in the foot. Second half they got their tails up and played a bit more direct rugby. And Taroona just couldn't get, I suppose, field position.
And that was the same, I think, in the first half too. Taroona had, deprived Burnie of possession, and in the second half, Burnie deprived Taroona of possession. So they just didn't have the opportunities to score, and Burnie were able to capitalise early and late, I think, on the scoreboard to get those two tries in the second half. But really, game played in really great spirits. Just really great to watch a game of rugby where the two teams are battling it out hard, but there's no animosity and no ill feelings and no ill discipline in terms of fighting and that kind of thing going on. Really, really great game to watch.
Yeah, great game. Well, sets us up for another big one next weekend.
Absolutely, and I'll be interested to see what scores we might have up in Launceston at the moment. I'll have a quick look. The other match happening right now as we speak that's potentially finished too is the game between Launceston and Devonport. And I do have a final score for that, so if you don't want to know, turn your ears off now. But a close one as well, even closer than this one. Devonport Bulls 31, Launceston winners by 8, 39. So next week's game between Burnie and Devonport will be played up at Don Oval, I imagine. The home game for Devonport. Launceston will have the week off, and the winner of Burnie and Devonport will meet Launceston in a grand final. That is all but guaranteed, in my humble opinion, to be played at Royal Park at Launceston in 2 weeks' time, with an all-North grand final.
It's great to see Northern teams doing well this year. 3 of them in the finals, and 3 out of the 4 of them in the finals, should I say, which is awesome. Absolutely, and great game. So great game out here today. Great spirit between these two clubs. There has been for quite some time, but as we see Taroona waiting in front of us here just to clap the Emus off. The Battle of the Birds today was won by the bigger and stronger Emus, and they'll have a nice trip home tonight with a victory under their belt, knowing that their season's still alive. And for Taroona, commiserations, that's the end of the season for them. The reigning premiers unable to come out and get it this time, to come out again, but congratulations to Burnie, and who've now beaten 2 out of the top 3 teams in the last 2 weeks. So they've now got Devonport that stand between them and a grand final appearance. Thanks for your time today, Sean. Really appreciate it.
No, thanks. Great to have your words here. And on that note, we'll leave you to it. Goodbye, everybody.